everyone, and welcome back to Korean Farms. Today I'm going to be talking about companion planting with potatoes. Now this video is not going to be so much about how to plant potatoes because I've already done one of those videos. So I'll link that below if you're looking for a video on how to plant potatoes. But I'm going to be talking to you about companion planting and what you should and what you shouldn't plant with potatoes. So let's get started.
I bet you planted some yummy food.
These are going to be potatoes.
Ooh, yum. Oh, I saw one.
Yep.
Is this one?
Yep, leave it right there. We're going to tuck it in.
Hi, everybody.
Alright, so let's talk about what I'm going to plant with my potatoes. Then we'll talk about some things you shouldn't plant with potatoes. So potatoes do really well with a lot of herbs. They do well with things like marigolds and bush beans. So we're going to be planting some thyme, spinach, lettuce. That's what I did in my other bed of potatoes, and you can see that in my video of how to plant potatoes. I'm going to try tatsoi, which is kind of like a spinach. We're going to put that in this bed. We're going to do some marigolds, bush beans, and then some basil and yarrow. So yarrow is great at bringing in pollinators into the garden. And we're going to start first with our thyme.
Great job, Mom.
Alright, after we have our thyme in, we're just going to seed this now. Tatsoi does really well in spring or fall when the temperatures are still really cool. If you can see these little seeds here, they remind me of arugula seeds or even like tiny little spinach seeds. So we're just going to sprinkle them on the top of the soil here. And as long as you keep them really moist, they germinate pretty well. So that's the tatsoi there. Then we have another row of potatoes. And then we're going to put marigolds. The marigolds are excellent as pest deterrent for lots of plants in your garden. So we're going to put 3. Marigolds tend to kind of get bushy and spread out some. Now these are petite marigolds, so they're going to be smaller to the ground. Some of the other marigolds that I planted in our squash and cucumber beds, which you can see that video too when I companion planted it with squash and zucchini. I'll link that video below for you too. But those are going to get taller. Those are going to be like 2 and 3 foot marigolds, which works fine over there because of the squash and cucumber plants are going to be so much bigger.
I like how you plant them.
So we're just going to tuck these marigolds in here. And these will do a great job at fighting pests for the potato. Now, I'm going to grab some bush bean seeds and plant those here.
Ooh.
But first, I'm going to throw some basil and yarrow in. Now, this is a dark purple opal basil, and you will see how pretty it's got that purple and green leaf.
I like it.
And basil tends to get really tall. When I plant it, I leave plenty of room around it because it does come up and bush and get pretty big. So we're going to leave plenty of space for this basil, and we're just going to put some yarrow on the sides of it. Now yarrow is best if you start it inside early, and I did it, and I've actually never planted it direct sown it into the ground, but we're going to try that today. So we're just going to direct sow some of this pearl yarrow right on top of the soil here, and it'll just be an experiment. We'll see how it goes. So that's one thing with gardening.
Cool.
You want to just try something. Like, don't let somebody tell you, oh, that's not going to work. Try it. You will be surprised sometimes at what you get. So that's exactly what we're doing right here with this yarrow. And so we're just going to sow this right here, tap it in, and then we're going to wet everything down. Now, I left my bush beans inside, so I've got to go grab my bush bean seeds to throw those in between on this other row, and then I'm going to talk to you about what not to plant with potatoes. Alright, all I have to do now is wet this bed down, and I have potatoes, thyme, bush beans, I have yarrow, I have basil, we have marigolds, all planted in this bed. Now there's some plants that you want to keep away from potatoes, and those are going to be things like in the nightshade family. And I do crop rotate your vegetables, so you don't want potatoes planted where you might have had a nightshade vegetable planted the previous year. So those are going to be things like peppers and eggplant, tomatoes. You don't want to plant any of those in the same place as you would plant your potatoes. Now, potatoes grow underground. They're a root. So when you are thinking about, you don't want to put anything else that is a root vegetable near a potato. So carrots, parsnips, turnips, things that are going to go up under the ground just like your potatoes are. Now, brassicas, so your cauliflowers, your broccoli, your cabbages, your Brussels sprouts, things like that don't grow really well with potatoes either. Potatoes don't love squash or melons. Potatoes kind of like to be by themselves. You can throw some marigolds in, you can throw some herbs in, and some bush beans. But other than that, potatoes kind of need to be on their own. Now, you want to keep a chart. This is why I kind of record on my clipboard of where things are, and I keep that. So next year, I'm going to know I don't want peppers and eggplant and tomatoes and things like that in this bed because potatoes have been here this year. Now, we've got a really cool thing we're going to do in the front. We're going to be putting some melons in, some green bean teepees, and not green beans. They're going to be pole beans, but they're actually going to be grown to be dried beans for us. So some bean teepees, some melons, okra, and more marigolds. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope that gave you all a good overview of potatoes and companion planting with them, things that you can and things that aren't always the best idea to plant with potatoes. So we've got tons more gardening videos coming for you. This is the time to plant, and everything from melons and corns and beans, and we've got a really neat project we're going to show you that we're planting a garden specifically for. So stay tuned for that. I want you to see how we grow all of the food that we need for that one particular project right here on our farm. So thanks for joining us today at Cram Farms. Give our video a like, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos. We'll see y'all next time right here at Cram Farms.